What's up, guys? Welcome back to Redstoning with Steve. And I know this has been a long time coming. And yeah, I've decided to make this the first episode of Season 3. Season 2 was quite a short one, and it just kind of fell out. You know, it just ended up just kind of not happening. So Season 3. Season 3, I'm really just going to do general stuff, just a bit like Season 2. It's not going to change much. Formula's not going to change. You know, I'm not going to mess with something that, you know, was already well liked by people. The episode today is going to be going over some 1.5 stuff because there's some misconceptions. Some people don't know how stuff works. So I'm just going to go over everything, really kind of basic summary of stuff and some nifty redstone uses you can use. So, of course, we'll jump straight into it. So we'll start way over the left here, and I'm doing these in the order I pulled them out of the redstone inventory. So there you go. Alright, we first have the redstone block. And by the way, I'm not going to tell you how to craft any of these. I don't care. You can go look them up. I'm more interested in their redstone uses. Redstone block. Basically, we've just got a power source. Good one to start with. Very basic. Essentially, it is a redstone torch, but you can move it. So that's pretty much it. If we grab a piston out of here, we'll just do it there. And we do this and this to say we want to power this line. Obviously the torch will break, but you can use this to power it. You could use something like just a solar block before, a solar block before and do something like that. So I guess it isn't inherently useful. What a redstone block will do, the main advantages of redstone block is that it just makes circuits a lot more compact. It's a very easy way to just get rid of that extra block in your circuit. So I'll say the redstone block, it doesn't have all that much use, I'll say. It's not the most, you know, useful thing in the entire world, but it certainly does have its uses in making stuff more compact. So that's pretty much all there is for it, but yeah. I should mention one glitch. Quasi-connectivity glitch is still present in the game. This piston won't retract because it's being powered by its own redstone block. So I hope they take out the quasi-connectivity bug soon because that's getting a bit annoying. But yeah. Just quickly, I wanted to mention, and yes, I did record this after the whole video was done, but the redstone block only acts as a redstone source in its own right. So you can do this and it'll depower it because this block's powered. It essentially acts as if we're going to do this, it acts as this block. This lapis block and the redstone block are now equivalent. So basically, if we do this, then this isn't powered. Whereas if you had like a repeater pointing into this block, it would be powered. Or if you had a torch under this block, it would be powered. But this does not provide power to this. So just wanted, it's a primary source only. It will not function as a secondary source of our redstone power. So just wanted to point that out. So onto the hopper. Now this was another very popular thing. I'll explain its uses with a comparator after I get through all of them, but for now I'll just explain the hopper. Not too much about it. Obviously you throw items in and the hopper gets them. Can transfer stuff to the side. You can see I'm holding shift and putting them on there, and if you throw it in there, it's going to travel all the way at the end. Very good way of moving items around. Very good for making sorting systems, which I've toyed around with actually. I may have a video on a sorting system I made, although it's kind of hard to, they're not very flexible at the moment, the sorting systems, I'll say that. The other uses for them, they're powered and depowered by redstone block. A powered hopper will accept an item. I thought it would accept. It appears I'll power this hopper. I thought... Oh, look. A powered hopper apparently will not accept an item. That's right. Okay. A powered hopper will accept an item from another hopper, but it will not... That hopper will not let it go out. So if we set up another hopper as such, and we're going to power the middle one. See the middle one's powered there. We can throw that in, it'll accept that item, but it will not pass it through apparently. Okay, it appears I've hit a roadblock here. I'm sure it was right though. I'm sure it was right. We'll just do the easy way. Okay. You know, it's gone through. Yeah, hopper mechanics work a bit weird. I think it's because the hoppers are pointing into each other, they're accepting the item. I think if you have it set up as like this, I believe this hopper will not transfer its item if it's in it. It's a bit weird because this isn't pointing into the bottom hopper, but if you throw this in, it will transfer it, I believe, yeah. But if you power it, it won't accept it, will it? Hoppers are a bit weird. I gotta say, I'm still learning them. But yeah, you just gotta have a play around with them yourself, really. I'm not sure, they may change the mechanics a little bit, but basically you can use hoppers to put stuff in chests, droppers, furnaces, pretty much anything with an inventory. Hoppers can interact with, as long as you make it so they're pointing in. So I've got this dropper here. This hopper will not funnel items into it. You actually have to hold shift, put it, and it will funnel items into it. Brewing sands are another one. The only thing hoppers won't work with is ender chests, and I think that's about it. So yeah, on to the next item. So the comparator was one of the more popular items. I'd say the hopper and the comparator are the two probably most popular or most widely used things in this update. The main use for the comparator is at the moment is to, if we put something in this dropper, it can detect that there's an item in there and it will emit a signal that is relative to the strength. And I'm pretty sure most of you know that. Awesome comparator. I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with that feature of them because it's been going around absolutely everywhere. So we'll grab that back, we'll break that. The other use that has not seen as much use, if we do this, you can see that it just repeats a signal. In fact, it's more useful if we do something like this. And you can see that, and I'm going to put a repeater next to it. You can see that the signal strength in the repeater has been set back to full, while the comparator hasn't changed the signal strength whatsoever. However, if we press, we can right click on the comparator, we can get the this thing down or this thing up. When the thing is up, it's in its comparing mode. It's where the comparator gets its name. It's in the subtraction mode, I think its official name is. So basically what we've got here, we've got the normal signal, and basically that's kind of the base signal. Let's call it the base signal. And the base signal will take the comparator in this mode, when this is up, will take the back signal and then subtract whatever is in from the sides and output that as its signal. So at the moment we've got 15, which is the maximum redstone strength, minus 0 is 15. So this one is 15. However, if we put another 15 into it, there is 0. And we can tell this by doing this, or simply putting a repeater here. You can clearly see there's nothing going there, so times 0 for you guys. You clearly see there's no signal strength. However, we set it back, it goes back to 15. If we do this, you can see the repeater is powered. That's because this is 15 and then 14. 15 minus 14 is a signal strength of 1. So we move this to here, redstone repeater is not being powered. So that's pretty much how it works. It's actually pretty easy. You can make some cool stuff like run this back into it itself. You can see it generates a pulse, and this is an infinite pulse without a torch, and this is an extremely helpful pulse. Too quick for a repeater to respond. I believe piston will work with it. There you go. I haven't really played around with that thing much, so the reason this happens is because it's 15 minus 15, 14, 13. 15 minus 13 is 2, so that comes out. 15 minus 2 is back to 13, so it just keeps flickering between those two states, so that's how it works. So yeah, on to the next item. So the next two items, and it kind of makes sense that I'm doing these together. the two weighted pressure plates, the light version and the heavy version. Now, apart from being amazing design tools, because they cannot be activated by players, as you can see, I'm walking over it, there's no click of a pressure plate, so that's quite handy. Apart from that, all they do is act as the items activate them. So you can see I've got one item on it, signal strength of 1, you can see there. And if I just keep throwing items on it, and you can see that bit lit up there. So we'll put it there. I'll do it once more so you can see properly. See, it's just signal strength of 1. Oop, bit further away. And I keep throwing items onto it, and yeah, it gets a repeater once it goes to 2. This is just the light version. You have to throw a lot more items on this one. So we'll go 1, 2, like that. Signal strength of 1, and then we just have to keep spamming a Q button. It's going to take a lot of items. Yeah, and there we go. So it took well over half a stack. Almost a full stack to get another signal strength from it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for those ones. Not sure what kind of uses they would have. I assume for something like mob systems, I don't know. Item sorting, I guess, is one, but yeah, not really sure. So yeah, I'll have to play around with them. So that's about it for them. We move to the daylight sensor, or it's called a solar panel in mine, but I assume that's just my language, the Australian language. The daylight sensor emits a signal strength depending on how sunny it is. That's pretty much it. We go to night. Oh, 1300 I went. Anyway, you can see the signal strength change there. I meant to go 13,000. 13,000. And you can see there's no power anymore. Trigger the end. Set the time to 1300. There was enough to power it anyway. And we'll go times at 0 again. And you can see it actually went off because there's less daylight. Because 1300 is closer to midday than 0, obviously, because 0 is dawn. And you can see it just went on then. So yeah, pretty much what it says on the box. I'm not going to dwell too much on the daylight sensor. And lastly, we have the dropper. And the dropper is essentially a glorified dispenser, but if you... I'll get the dispenser out. The only difference being, and you probably know this already, and we'll set both of them up to fire. And we're going to get... we'll get an egg is what I'm looking for. Food stuff. Tucker. There we go. We'll get chook eggs. Australian language, by the way, guys. I figured I had to. Dispenser here, normal dispenser, dropper here. Difference being, you can obviously see the difference. The dropper will only drop items exclusively. I've got a chicken now. While the dispenser will fire any items that can be fired, i.e. splash potions, eggs, there's a couple of others. Water, I believe. Whereas if you put a bucket of water in here, it'll shoot water everywhere. If you put a bucket of water in here, it'll fire the bucket of water out. And I'm pretty sure it was the droppers were just added because people wanted to be able to dispense stuff like water buckets. So yeah. The advantage of a dropper is you can actually stack them upwards. I assume you could do this with a dispenser as well. Yeah, looks a bit different. I like the texture. But you can have a dropper here, and we're going to put half a stack of laps in there. And it's actually firing out the top because I'm firing it too quickly. But basically, if a dropper fires upwards into another dropper, this dropper will collect the item. I don't believe you can just drop items on it. No, it's only if a dropper fires into it, or obviously if a hopper, goes into it. But that kind of goes without saying. And yeah, it will collect the things. So we can actually make an upwards tower if we're smart about it. Will this fire? It's firing, you just can't hear it. Yeah, there you go. It's fired all up into the third one, so that's pretty much what's going on there, guys. So now we'll move on to something different. So that's pretty much all the elements of the 1.5 Redstone update. There are stuff like TNT minecarts, hopper minecarts. I'm not going to go over them. They're kind of an extension. You guys can go and research them themselves. I know I'm pretty interested in hopper minecarts. Although, I don't know. They're interesting, but I find them to be a little cumbersome because I don't know. I always like to do stuff mechanically. Well, it's more reliably with actual electronics rather than, minecarts. So, I want to go over some of the combinations that these things can have. So I think I know that you can do something with hoppers. Have a redstone comparator that can make it so the best use I've found with the two combinations is if you do this, and you can make it so when there's a certain amount of items in this hopper, you can make it emit one of the items into this hopper. How does it work again? I've forgotten how it works. Because this hopper won't accept items. No, it will. Because it's pointing at it. So if we do this... I remember, by the way, guys. This hopper accepts the item. But because it's not pointing directly into there, it won't accept. And this is powered. It won't accept the item. But if we depower it, it will accept the item if I don't break the thing. But yeah, that's the kind of basis how it works. Basically what you want to do, and this is kind of how the sorting system works, is you want to extend it by 2, and then you want to have a repeater go through here into something like that. And basically when this has a certain amount of items, it will emit one into the bottom. So I'll get a hopper, a comparator ready out here so you can see when the item goes in. Just going to keep dropping items in. Are they going in? Yep. I'll go soon. Yep, there you go. So you can see, if I throw one in, you can see the redstone torch pulses off because it recognizes this will go to a signal strength of 2. We'll turn this one off and it will allow it to accept items. And that's kind of the basis how the sorting systems are working at the moment. So I shouldn't have destroyed that. I'll keep that set up there. Just so you guys can have a look at it on the, of course, world download. And, yeah, we'll move on to another use. I kind of forgot it, so I'll be back with you in a sec. Alright, guys, I remembered what it was. I definitely remembered. Remember how we did the experiment before where we had this behind it and we made it to this sort of really quick pulse? Well, you can use this to make an automatic dropper. So we're going to put enough lapis in here. So we get a signal strength of 3, and that's just enough to make it round so it can feed into itself. Yep, you can see it's feeding into itself. You can see the flush. So all we've got to do now is put that on top of that. And there we go. And it will only go until... Yeah, you can see this isn't quite making it to the dropper now. So that's the minimum amount. So you can have 123... lapis in there. Any more you put on there will just get automatically spit out. I have to do 2, 3. Not sure why. I think I haven't quite set this up right because it actually just stopped pulsing. So essentially that's kind of the idea of it. But yeah, now it's only accepting whenever one comes in and gets spit out. So that's the kind of premise of that. And yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. So I think that just about wraps up the first episode of Season 3, guys. And I'm going to pick up this lapis. So yeah, I felt I kind of needed to go over all the 1.5 stuff with you guys. I know a lot of you know about this already. I'm not really fussed because I wanted to go over this in my own way. What I thought was important. Well, I guess this stuff wasn't important, but, you know, I kind of covered it just for clarity and, you know, completeness, I guess is what I'm looking for. So, yeah, I just guess I hope you enjoyed this, and I will definitely be looking for more things to do. I got pointed out in a comment lately that to do a sorting system, and is in a 1.5 sorting system with hoppers, and I'm very, very tempted to go over one of those. So, yeah. A lot of 1.5 stuff to go over, and of course, yeah, some older stuff as well. And mostly it'll be other people's stuff because I can't go over my builds all the time. I sound like a douche. Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one and hope to see you again in Season 3, Episode 2. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I'll catch you next time.